Hey, John Falstrom here, everyone. Back at EADG4 headquarters, about 40 miles south of Chicago Loop, and 50 minutes, I'm sorry, 40 minutes from the Loop, 50 minutes from the great, legendary Wrigley Field. It's October 22nd, 2016. I'm finishing up my in-depth series on chord arpeggios. We are now on third inversion, our last inversion chords. Third inversion has to do with adding the seventh note of a chord, called a seventh chord. We're going to do A. I'm going to use A as my example. I've been using A all day. I like A. It's a very common note in music. Plus, it doesn't have sharps and has sharps and flats. A major. I don't like using C because it's all natural notes, and you get a little intimidated by sharps and flats then if you're just practicing C. So jump in the water right away. It's very worth it. Okay. All right. Let's go. Third inversion for A. It's gonna be an A major chord. We're gonna do an A major seventh chord. It's called. So the notes are root 3, 5, and you add the seventh, a major seventh, and that's it right there. So you practice those chords. Now we're gonna put it in third inversion, which means you are going to be playing the seventh on the first beat of this chord. So whenever that chord appears, you're not playing the root, you're playing a harmony note, the seventh. So you're kind of like shifting the chord around, make it sound. It's kind of like, God, what's the word? You're disguising the chord a little bit. Okay? So a good way of practicing this is just go 7, 5, 3 root. Over and over again. Over and over again. 7, 5, 3 root. We can go to seventh here. Watch this. That's a great third inversion because you're not starting with the root. On that first beat, you're coming down with a seventh. Whatever you do after that, that's up to you. But I'm just giving you examples of chord arpeggios. Just using chord arpeggios. You got to make your chord arpeggios magical. Very musical. Got to practice them over and over again. That was a 2-octave arpeggio. 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7. Third, and on the third, and on the A, go to your G sharp. Remember, G sharp is your major seventh. Okay. So get a arpeggio and work on it. That's the same thing. 7, root, 3, 5. Sound great. Let's go to the dominant seventh. Dominant seventh is a flatted seventh. Comes from the Mixolydian mode. Okay? Here's the Mixolydian mode. I think you might know it if you don't. It's a flat seventh. So when you see it's like an A7, you call it a flat seventh because here's the major seventh. What do you do to get a dominant seventh? You flat it. So it's called a flat seven, the dominant seventh. Root 3, 5, flat 7. So that's a dominant 7 chord. So third inversion is you're not going to play the root on A, you're going to play the G note first. That's third inversion. Here's the fifth right below it. All arpeggios. Our arpeggios can be played. That's an arpeggio. Okay? There's no one way to play it. It's I call it an infinity amount of ways, but I'm sure there's a number somewhere, but I have no idea what it is. I can't count that high. It's probably in the trillions. I don't know, billions. Let's go to the minor seventh. A minor seventh. You add the minor seventh right there. There's the minor scale. There's the minor chord and the seventh. That's a minor seventh. It's in play. Now, third inversion means the chord says A minor seventh. Your first note is G. That's an arpeggio right there. 3, 5, 7, flat 7, 3, flat 3, 5. That was third inversion. of an A minor 7th. Let's go to a half diminished 7th. You're just adding the diminished chord. There's your diminished. I've demonstrated this in my three previous videos. So if you haven't watched root position arpeggios, go back and watch that for any knowledge that I'm not putting in. I don't like to repeat all this stuff over and over again. We need to keep moving. So the first video, chord arpeggios, root position. If you think you're missing something, go to that one. Then go to the next one, first inversion, second inversion. I would watch this one the last, fourth time, third inversion. So we're doing a half diminished 7 chord, which is a root, flat 3, flat 5, and a flat 7, okay? Comes from the Locrian mode. We're not doing modes today, but this is the Locrian mode. You can see that these notes are from there, okay? Now, third inversion, you see a diminished chord. You're not going to play the A on that beat. You're going to play the G, the flat 7. Whatever you play after that is up to you. We're using chord arpeggio, chord notes. There's a nice little line that's an arpeggio. I'm not even hitting an A right now. I resolve on it. That was wrong. Should have been the E flat. Stand at E flat. Okay. Let's get into that one a little bit. Good stuff. Okay, so that is a third inversion diminished chord. You start with that chord comes in, first note, flat 7. Whatever you do on to that, practice, use your musical imagination. Build it. Know your notes. Let's go to our last third inversion chord, which will be augmented. We're going to make this an augmented major 7th. Okay, this chord is very rare. Some of these chords are very rare, like this one. This is from the melodic minor and the harmonic minor. Okay, the augmented chord. Those are used as alternatives for maybe sticking that chord in there for maybe a beat, a measure, 2 measures. Okay, so here's A augmented 7th, major 7th. Root, 3, sharp 5, F, and a major 7th, G sharp. There's your root position, root 3, sharp 5, major 7th, octave. Now, you see an A augmented? Play the G sharp first. You're playing the 7th first. That's the definition of third inversion. Whatever you play after that, doesn't matter. It's up to you. Here's a cool one. That was a third inversion augmented chord. I'm not even hitting the root or the flat 5th. I know they're there. I mean sharp 5th. I know they're there. I decide not to play them. I might. Again, like I said, if you can't do magic with your 3 notes of a chord arpeggio, forget doing chromatic stuff, modal stuff, pentatonic stuff, because the more you add, the more difficult it becomes. So you start with just roots, maybe root 5ths, then you do your root 3rd 5ths, make them sound as what you think is great musically. Then you can start build from there. I would build from the chord arpeggios. That's the history of the bass. Alright, that's going to wrap up my chord arpeggio sessions. John Falstrom here, author of EADG4. Remember, all this stuff is in heavy detail in my book, EADG4. 31 through 91. C, actually, it's a supplement pages, so there's 60 pages of this stuff in detail, more examples, but now you're seeing me, how I see it. Today. I'll see it different 2 hours from now. That's the beauty of knowing theory. Every time you play something, you're going to play it different. You've already gone through the playing note for note stuff with songs. This is past that, you know. Once you get where you can play note for note, that's great. But you can't end there. If you're going to come, you keep going. Now you learn the theory, and then you can change it. If you have trust in yourself as a how to interpret a song, you're going to be quite good. Trust yourself. You'll learn your lessons. Some veteran who's good, you respect, says that ain't working. Kind of listen to him a little bit, see where he's coming from. Okay. Keep the good, throw out the bad. Keep what you want, throw out what you don't want. Okay. All right, that's going to end our Chord Arpeggio session. October 22, 2016. This is something me and Dave did for around Halloween, because we both love it. This time of year in Chicago. And I'll see you back in a second. You'll be surprised with what we got coming up. Thanks.